Hey everybody, how you doing? Great to see you guys. Hope you're all awake and are ready for some fun talk, some fun time together. Welcome to our living room. It's great to have you all here. My lovely wife's looking all blinged up, looking really nice, baby.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So are you with the whole
With my
M hat? I don't
my
know what
M.
that.
M actually, people think it stands for Moravi. It actually stands for Michigan. It's like I got this hat in Michigan. And Michigan is actually where it seems Trump lost the
Trump
election.
lost. Okay.
So I'm just wearing this, standing with all our friends in the U.S. at this time. I don't know. For some of them that's really bad. For some of them it's good, but whichever one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to see everybody here. We're really excited to see you. Welcome to our living room. And my name is Moravi and Carol, and we are your hosts for tonight.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are. Yes.
Tell us where you're watching from.
Yes, that's yes, as usual.
Tell us where you're watching from.
Yes.
Tell us how long you've been married. One of the things that I missed your couples connecting. Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
put them over there. So one of the things that's been fun is just seeing the analytics on the channels and just realizing we have a lot of people watching. Obviously, like our biggest audience right now is Kenya.
It's Kenya. Yeah.
We've got a very big audience watching in Kenya. So
Yeah.
thank you all the Kenyan people who
Yeah.
are supporting us. We're so excited.
Yeah.
But then the second country, surprisingly, is the
the
US.
US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, a big shout out to all our friends in the
Yeah.
US. All those guys who are watching our show, followed closely by
UK.
actually it's the Philippines.
Philippines or Korea?
No, it's Philippines.
Philippines, not
Yeah,
the UK.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Philippines
Wow.
is closely follows the US and then Philippines and then the UK, then Pakistan. I
Yeah.
love that. I mean,
Wow.
Pakistan's right there, up there
Yeah.
as one of our top nations.
Pakistan. Wow.
Then
Wow.
Uganda, and I mean Uganda's man. I mean, it's like where's the love?
Yeah.
But we're going to come and visit Uganda. We want to just come and do an event there. But we've got so many good friends in the Pearl, and we've been praying for Uganda this week. We know there's been some political turmoil, but we're just trusting God for some breakthroughs in your nation. I believe the best years are ahead of you, Uganda. Then Brazil, and then it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Iraq,
Wow.
Saudi Arabia, Italy, South Korea, and South Africa. So those
Wow.
are like our top 10 nations. And
Yeah.
big shout out to all our friends across the world, all the different people just coming together with us to learn about marriage, hanging out in our living room with us. We're really excited to see you all. We're Moravi and Carol.
Yes, we're Moravian Carol. For those who don't know us, we are actually pastors, we are authors, speakers, and your marriage coaches. I think we really have a lot of fun coaching, doing marriage coaching.
Absolutely.
We've been married for 26 years.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
There's a
26
bling.
years. Well, he has a bling. He needs to get me mine.
Need to
Mine
hook
got
you up-
lost.
need to
He
hook you
needs
up
to
with some
hook me
bling.
up with a stone, a real good stone.
Oh man.
Yes,
No pressure.
no pressure intended.
All right.
And then I'm actually a marriage and family therapist.
That's
And
true.
he's a pastor.
Yeah.
Oh, we're both pastors.
And I mean, the whole idea of asking for a friend is a forum every week. It just brings marriage issues to couples everywhere. We just talk. We were mentored by many couples when we were a younger couple, and we just
Yeah.
have never taken that for granted. One of the things we told God is, Lord, you've been so gracious to us that we want one day to be able to just mentor and be a blessing and just share what we know. Because we found it's not everybody who's open to share what they know. And we love to just be a resource to other couples. And hopefully you learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
Not as well as whatever we've succeeded in, as well as some of the great couples we bring on. So that's what we do.
That's what we do. We also run, a number of different marriage experiences. The first one is Ndoa. Ndoa is a 10-week experience that helps you build a foundation or even renew your marriage. I mean, if you never ever did a foundational course for your marriage, Ndoa is the thing that is for you. It's an amazing experience.
Next class starts in January, and
Yeah.
spaces are filling up fast. So make sure sign up. And by the way, we have what we call the Ndoa Couples Community. I don't even know if I posted a link. My goodness, I
On
should have
the
put a
Ndoas.
link.
I think it's
I think Aggie should be watching this.
Yeah, she's
Aggie is a
putting it
good
out.
friend of ours. Please, Aggie, if you're watching this, please put up the link to how to connect. And Gladys as well. Put up the link on how you can connect. And what you do is just follow that link. It'll put you into the Ndoa Couples Community. And once you're in the community, then tell us you want to be part of Ndoa, and we'll hook you up with the right information.
Yeah.
And then also we run Couples and Money. which is a 10-week experience that helps you develop financial intimacy, which is very relevant, by the way, to today
Today's
and the
topic,
things
yeah.
we're talking about. And so again, the next class for that is in January, and we want you to be part of it. It's a great mentoring experience. All these are just mentoring experiences to help you grow in your marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we get quite a number of requests for us to mentor people, probably one-on-one. But that's, we're not set up for that at this particular time to be able to do that. But what we have done is to provide those forums. Door Community is an amazing space where you get to ask your questions and peers answer the questions, and then we get to comment in today's in the evening, like today.
Okay.
So if you're looking for mentorship, if you even have friends who would be saying, oh my goodness, would love to be mentored, then Door Community is the place for you.
Yeah, and speak your friends. If you're able to just send a link right now to your friends, invite someone to watch with you. I just find this stuff is life-saving. I mean, it's the stuff we're sharing saved our marriage.
It did.
And I know that whenever we come across stuff like this, we devour it. So if your friends who are married and you just know this might be beneficial to them, just send them a text, send them a link, just tell them, hey, I think you'll enjoy this.
Yeah. We have a few people watching.
You have some people,
I do. I have a Vivian. Just a few shout outs. Vivian is watching. This is on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, Vivian is watching. Terry Blossom is watching also from Uganda. We have Natasha Rubadiri Mwanika who is watching. Welcome, Terry. And we also have some Cherabo watching. So
awesome.
Welcome, guys.
Lots of people on YouTube already. We've got Bangirana Lydia from Uganda. Woo! Yeah, we're coming.
Yeah.
We're coming for sure. We've got lots of friends there. Alice Muhinga tuned in, looking forward. It's been getting better and better each week. Last week was especially nice. I agree.
Invite them again, please.
Yes, absolutely. I think a lot of our guests, by the way, just returned. They just have to come back. Jerry Jomo says she's watching. Elizabeth Demo is watching. Tell us where you're watching from. We'd love to just connect with you and just get to know who it is. Some of the fun thing is just seeing familiar names. Some of you check in every week and we're like, wow. It's so encouraging to see you back in our living room again after a week away. So we're really glad to have you here. Yeah. So anyway, we want to start with just our highs and lows. I like to do that. But it's something we do in our marriage all the time. Every day in the evening with our kids, it's always like, what's your high? And maybe a low if you have one. But what's your high from this last week?
High this last week, we had we actually went to the apiary with a group of friends. It was quite exciting. For those who don't know what an apiary is. Yeah. You all know
it's
that.
Our bee farm. Yes.
It's our bee
farm. Yes.
And it was actually quite, I really enjoyed myself. It was such a nice way to spend Sunday with friends, although bees didn't allow us to do that. We were quite agitated this week. A couple of people got stung, which doesn't normally happen, but it happened this time. And then they got to come home. That was really nice.
Okay, so we had some friends over and took them to see our bees. All right, so my highlight, in case you're wondering, is, my gosh, it's been a really good week. Okay, so of course I have to say that we harvested some honey, which is always fun. So,
that's nice.
That's always really a lot of fun. So like for those of you who've been watching, you just know this is my new obsession, my new hobby. Yes, I got a new hobby. That's my highlight. That's really my highlight.
Which one is it?
On Sunday morning, my son and I rode on the Southern Bypass. Those of you who are from Nairobi know that. And it goes all the way from Mombasa Road to Kikuyu. And I'm telling you, it was like I haven't ridden a bike in a long time. My son is a stud. He's 17. He showed me dust.
He's
obviously.
16.
He's 16, man. Okay, he felt like you're 17. I'm officially old. This guy can run rings around me. But it was fun. it was just great to go out there early on a Sunday morning and just half away.
You had some aches and pains there?
Not much. I still have it.
Okay, there are no pains.
All right. Moving on. Liza says, been following silently, very relatable content, loving it. Liza Karaoke, great to see you, Liza. And then Felix Osieba, tune and ready to learn. Shiron Joroge, watching, learning quite a lot. Letitia Iguma from Uganda. Woo! And then Daisy Ndege says, County 034, watching. County 034 is what?
Is Ngong.
Kajiado. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Daisy, great to have you here. And then, oh wow, Paul Wangai Jr. Doctor excellent series, Spread Far and Wide, Wangais.
Wow.
Those are like our mentors. By
Yeah,
the way,
I mean,
Wangais,
his
we
daddy.
must get you on this show.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Wangai is just one of
Is
those
it
people.
the daddy
It's
or the
Dr.
son?
Wangai. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
Dr.
Dr.
Wangai.
Wangai,
Oh,
yeah.
great.
I mean, such an honor to have him on this
Yeah,
show. But they're like one of the
they're
most
amazing.
remarkable couples I know,
Yeah.
bar none. Faith Wanjiko says, nice to see you, Pastor Evan Caro, and then Charity Nashesh.
Ooh.
Kiambu County. Maybe that's why I can't say it. But Charity, it's great to see you as well.
Okay, I have some few
welcome.
people. This is
Yeah.
Facebook. Pamela Mutua watching. Priscilla Getahi Upton watching from the UK.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Our UK family right there.
Right there. We have Alinda Twinda from Uganda.
Woohoo.
Fantastic. Patrick Mwangi from Kiambu.
Yeah,
Very
I love
good.
it.
Helen Mugo from Machakos. And
Welcome to
Florence
Tigui.
Tom. Florence, tell us where you're watching from.
She's always
But
looking
Karibu
forward to
sana.
the show.
Karibu
Great to
sana.
see you guys. So, of course, without further ado, we need to introduce our mystery guests. You can see they're in the show already, and they've called themselves the Mysterious Couple. I love it.
Yeah.
These guys are incredible. Our mystery guests have been married 20 years. It seems like that's about the range we've been getting mystery couples in
Yeah, I think
recently.
it's good.
Yeah, so about 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have 3 children.
absolutely.
They have multiplied and they have 3 children.
They've multiplied.
Any
through
out there who do not have 3 children, I mean, that's a basic minimum. At
Biblically.
Least, biblically. At least, when you're one.
I say tongue in cheek, but I'm kind of half serious.
Yeah, serious.
He-
Populate the kingdom.
Absolutely. He runs a construction company and is just an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And then she, on the other hand, is a journalist and she's an author.
And an entrepreneur as
An
well.
entrepreneur, yeah.
They're both passionate about helping families. They're facilitators of Ndoa, and they've done that for at least 15 years, as far as I
Yeah,
know.
wow.
I mean, so these guys have helped many, many couples.
Over the years.
And they're also facilitators of couples and money. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they're all things couple.
Absolutely.
I just love their passion for couples.
Absolutely.
It's really beautiful.
Absolutely.
To
You're
see.
going to love these guys. Please help us welcome Willie and Wangeshi Kanyeki. Woo! Welcome, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, you're looking so good. It's really great to see you guys. Karibuni sana.
Yeah.
For a moment, I wondered who you were talking about.
None other than you guys. We're your fans.
Yeah.
We really enjoy you guys. It's really good to have you here. And yeah, I mean, you look like you're born for the screen. So this is clearly this is your element.
Willie, maybe I can ask a quick question. I don't know whether you cradle snatched Wangeshi.
I know, with his white hair. He
With
just
his
looks,
white hair, just look at her. Look at.
she looks like
Wow.
like at
She
least
looks 22.
20 years
Yeah,
younger than
you
him.
know.
But that's credit to how well you've looked after her, Willie. Don't get any pressure from my wife here.
I know that we were born in the same year.
Don't say
She's like, I'll kill you
Don't
for
say
that.
20 days difference in age.
Okay, of course,
20
and it makes a huge difference. Yeah, we can tell where those 20 days have gone. So we want our audience to get to know you guys. We do this every week, and so we're going to ask you to, in 1 minute, tell us how you met. Starting with Willie, starting now. 1 minute.
Okay, I met Wangeshi at a friend's housewarming. So we're going to help this buddy of ours to warm his house. It was during that time when guys were moving out of home, so it was a big deal
Yeah.
to house. So I was sitting there having a drink, talking to friends, and then she walks in, and everything stopped.
Wow.
Actually went to her, introduced myself, said my name is, I never used to do such things, but that day I couldn't stop myself.
Wow.
I said,
Wow.
introduced myself, and yeah, so that's how I met her. But can you believe
Wow.
she cannot remember that?
I didn't think it.
Couldn't remember seeing me. Couldn't remember if I
I
had
did. I did.
Oh
I-
my gosh. I was waiting for you to say, and the rest was history. It was love at first sight. We got married 2 weeks later.
incidences of imeingia hapo imetoka hapo.
Came out the other side.
Wow.
All right. So, Wangeshi, your side of the story, your version of the story in 1 minute starting now.
Yeah, okay. So I'd gone for a camp in Kenyan coast called Mombasa or Kanamai. And we went to pray. We went to pray for husbands with my friend Edith. She was Edith Juma. And my other friend Carol Court. and we're just praying for husbands. There was nothing on the horizon.
On the
No.
horizon. Ah.
And then next door in the next cottage, Kanyeki was there with his friends, and I think they had gone for a wedding,
As we
something.
had gone to happy.
They just
You're
gone
not
to
you're not
have
praying for
fun.
you're not praying for wives.
No. So I met him there, and I really thought he was very handsome. Then when introductions were done, we realized that, can you imagine that we worked for the same organization? So he says his name is Kanyeki, he works for this XX company. And guess what? I was working for the same company, and I was in the same building as he was.
Wow.
On 20th floor, he was on 19th floor.
Wow.
Same organization, same estate. He was 2 courts away from where I live. I had never seen him. Never seen him.
And this is 3 months after I met her.
Well, this just goes to show the power of prayer. You see, if Kanyeki, you're a prayerful person, she prayed and she got what she was looking for. You were just having fun in Mombasa. Big difference.
As you started listening to Christ Safari reggae.
You're a reggae guy. Oh my gosh! No wonder you're not getting what you're looking for. So okay, so
Wangeshi,
I think that the power of prayer has been demonstrated
Yeah.
right there. Okay,
yeah.
so
So Wangeshi, what's one trait about Willie that you couldn't stand at first, but you've grown to love and understand?
I couldn't stand. Wow, that's quick. Okay, I admired it, but later I couldn't stand it. He's very cool, calm, and collected in a crisis and does not fight back. That was very frustrating for me. Have I grown to love it? I've come to appreciate that it brings peace in the marriage, because we are both drama queen and drama king. You could easily kill each other, but he maintains his cool consistently from January to December. I don't know how he does that, but I've learned to appreciate it, because it keeps us sane.
wow,
Wow.
it's interesting. I mean, the things you're attracted to, the things that you're attracted to, and then later become like,
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. And 20 years down the road, it's appreciated. So that's awesome. Willie, what's the first thing Wangeshi would change if money was absolutely no problem?
What she would change?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I don't know whether I'm allowed to say this. So, the current sofa sets that we have
You can't say that. Oh my God.
It's something that is actually very personal for me, because it's the set I moved out of home with.
Oh, wow. That's so sweet.
As in, we've had it for like 20 years.
Oh
I
my
mean-
gosh.
What has happened, of course, over the years is we changed the covers. You know, it's not the same color that it was when we first started out.
Yes.
But rest assured, if she got money right now,
That's what you change.
Ouch! Ouch! Ouch!
Clearly, she agrees with you.
That
Those sofas gotta go.
sentimental values and all that.
20 years
20
in
years.
so far.
That's all she's hearing is 20 years.
20
20
years.
years.
Okay, Wangeshi, 20 years later, knowing all that you know, what advice would you give your younger self about to enter into marriage?
I would tell myself that, first of all, I need to know the man better. Ask all the hard questions before you sign up to the dotted line. Once you're in, then there is no negotiating room. So your bargaining power is before you sign the dotted line. Ask all the hard questions. Can be as stubborn as you want, because once you sign the dotted line, you'll be doing the laundry for a long time.
I'm sure there's a young bride who's just thanking you for that advice right now. Like negotiate, ask the hard questions now, because later on you're in.
Yeah.
You've signed the dotted line. Okay.
What am I talking about now?
Yeah, Willie's like, what's up with that, man? I mean, marrying me was the best thing that ever happened to you. Anyway, okay, Willie, This is your last question. Would you be willing to stay home with the kids while Wangeshi worked and brought in the bacon? Why or why not?
When we first got married, my answer would have been no. 20 years later, we have actually gone through a situation where I had no choice but to be at home with the kids as she
Wow.
worked, because I was fired from my job. So, without question, I would not have a problem staying at home with the kids, because I've had some experience with it.
Yeah.
And it actually has been a good thing, because I learned how to change diapers, learned how to look after the kid, and just didn't have that situation where she does all the work as far as children are concerned, and then I end up not knowing them or spending time with them.
Oh wow.
Wow.
That's interesting perspective, and that's helpful because I think one that's going to help us with a couple of the questions that are asked on the show today. Because what we want to do now is we're so grateful you're with us because we want to just help answer some of the questions that people have been asking. Every week we have a WhatsApp group. If you join the WhatsApp community, the Ndoa community, we have WhatsApp groups. And people get to chat to discuss the dilemma. We're going to be discussing that day. And today the issue was money issues. That's what we were discussing today. We realize that money is one of those divisive issues. It's one of the top leading cited causes of separation and divorce worldwide, not just in Kenya or in East Africa. And many couples today were sharing the challenges they faced. And by the way, the groups were on fire.
Yeah,
it was even hard to
keep
keep up. For once, it was like every group, there was so much content
activity.
coming out and activity. And it's a place where you just share your challenges, but also people share wisdom. And there was some great wisdom that was shared as well. And many couples, the issue catches them by surprise because it's not dealt with in depth when they were in depth when they were preparing for marriage, And it's only later that they realize, just like the songwriter said, that there's no romance without finance. And it's like, you don't sort out your finances, then you will have no romance in your life. It sounds like a very materialistic song, but there's some truth to it in marriage. And so we're so glad you're here with us because we want to just unravel some of the questions that we were asked.
Yeah, and so Willie and Wangeshi, even as you've been introducing yourselves and when people look at you, you actually look very well put together. You look happily married.
Happily ever after.
Yes, and we know that you're a model couple for many, but I'm so sure that this was not always the situation. This was not the way that you began, because marriages always start from somewhere, and usually they start from very small and humble beginnings. So let me start with you, Wangeshi, and ask you, tell us what ideas you had about money when you were getting married, and that were different from your husband's, and maybe the issues that they caused.
Okay. The first thing I didn't like the fact that I liked the fact that he would give me money as his wife, simply for being called Mrs. Kanyeki.
Oh, wow.
He had an allowance for me, and I really, really liked that. No accountability. What was different was our way of giving. I hadn't anticipated that, but we actually started our marriage journey financially stable. Is that it? Financially stable. So money at that point was not a big problem, and the children had not set in yet. So I would do my thing, and he would do his thing. Coming into marriage, there were a lot of aunties in quote, giving wisdom that there should be no shared joint accounts. They whisper in the ear, don't have a joint account. You must have a Swiss account. A Swiss account is a hidden account. So I backed it. A hidden account which you don't tell your husband. So coming culturally from being told to have a secret account, and then now in marriage we are trying to share our money, was new space for me. But what I liked about him is that unlike most finance people, he is very generous. Was generous with his money, at least towards me. So, and he didn't have a debit credit account like, okay, we've had tea, we've had a coffee date, and he wasn't keeping tabs of every expense on me. But one of the struggles I had when I got married is at the end of the day or at the end of the week, he'd ask, what have you done with the money? And I'd be very irritated with that question. Because I mean, what do you mean? I'm 29 years old and surely I know how to manage my money. What I didn't realize is that because of his profession, he's used to asking, what did you do with the money? So I started accommodating that question and just knowing that I need to give him an accountability on how I have spent the money.
Okay.
So that's the first thing, yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing that was really hilarious is, for example, when the children came up and I would ask, I need money for school uniforms, he would request that I send him a quote, like, I mean, how much money do you need exactly? And I was staying at home by then. So I learned to send him 3 quotes. You know how you do in an organization?
Oh, wow.
3 quotes of school uniform. This is the price. And then we select, and then now the money will be released. So that was new space for me. But yeah, that's the language he understood. So that's how
So this is what happens when you marry an accountant, because this is his background is accounts. So
yeah.
Oh my
3
goodness.
quotes.
3 quotes.
Okay.
How about for you?
3 quotes.
How about for you, Kanyeki? Just some ideas that you had coming marriage that were different from Wangeshi.
Things on the ground.
Yes, things on the ground, and maybe some issues that they caused.
The first thing was our idea of giving, because she mentioned we had different ideas. I came from a Pentecostal church background, and tithe was very important for me. But tithe used to be for the church, and that's it. So I tithe to the church and no one else. Nobody else gets it. Anything else is maybe a small gift here, a small gift there. But she came from a different school of thought, where over and above the tithing gift to the church, she was also supporting missionaries and people in ministry. Some pastors, some people who are, she even used to receive newsletters. Those were the days when email was just starting.
It was the only mode of
email was the only mode of communication. So we used to get letters, letters from the missionary she's supporting in Zimbabwe, in South Africa. So I look at those letters and I'm like, you're giving these guys money to do what? Why? And it took me a while. I really struggled with that issue of supporting people in ministry.
Yeah.
It was a huge mind shift for me. And when I finally reached the same plane as her, I actually became the advocate, for supporting people in ministry. And it was amazing to see the blessings we received from supporting those people. So that was one of the areas we really struggled with.
And when you say struggle, and the reason I was going to ask about struggle is because that was an issue raised today in the group. Yeah. The couple was a bit different because it was the one person just did not have any history in giving, and the other person came from a church where it's like I give everything. I mean, it was like, and it was a guy again, and the chick is like, the guy is always broke because he's always giving money to the church, and then now he comes and tells me he's broke. So I can see that could cause some tension. I mean, you guys look like you went through it very smoothly, and you really didn't have any challenges with the difference. But I guess you probably would have some advice for someone in that situation.
Yeah, we had our differences in terms of, I really questioned why she's giving money to, missionaries so and so in Zambia. So what is the money going to do? That money is better off being given to our local church, because that was my mindset. Yeah. So she's diverting God's money to other stuff. So it took time to realize, hey, by the way, this is actually supported, even biblically supported in terms of gifts that you can give to those people.
Okay.
So she just basically gently persuaded you?
Even for me, I think what also happened was I got to see God's blessings, even multiplied, even over and above what we would expect. I would get a salary increase. I would get, some windfall bonus, things which are totally unexpected, which I never used to experience before. So I was like, hey, wait a minute, maybe there's something to this. Maybe this is not a waste of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Wow. Okay, now some of the questions today, as we had mentioned, they were today we were talking about finances, and the reality is that in every marriage there's a hoarder and there's a spender. Now, in our marriage, I'm the one who just does that. I can spend more easily than he would. Yeah, more easily than he would. And I'm the one who can easily acquire loans, whereas my husband is excellent in saving and is very averse to loans. So, Wangeshi, between the two of you, who is the hoarder and who's the spender? And how have you managed to manage that difference? Yeah.
Okay, I am the holder.
Okay.
I kind of, I'm very, I stick to the budget. Basically, I set a goal, stick, like capital letters, stick to the budget.
Wow.
And I really don't budge. And when if asked and required to get out of my budget, I get very aggressive. So I like to stick to the budget, whereas he's a little more flexible and his risk appetite is a lot higher. But we realize that is also as a result of our upbringing. I grew up with very little, so we had to share all that we had, and we had to be very clever. My mother could fetch $1 as and so I learned from her that you don't waste money, you have to save money, and you stick to the budget. So I must say I learned that from her. So his personality is different. He's able to take bigger risks. So what we found is that I'm able to save. He has the knowledge to invest. So we try to marry that. It's not always tidy, but he has ideas for the money I've saved.
Yeah.
And sometimes those ventures can be very risky.
So you put aside the money, and then he's the one who comes up with a risky plan for how this money can actually multiply.
How it can multiply, yeah. So there are times it multiplies, and the other times it does. It has diminishing returns. So so I tend to be very protective. But what I realized that I had not learned enough financial literacy to know how to invest and grow the money. I could earn the money, I could save, but I didn't have the skill of investing. So that's where he comes in. But it's still a point of tension on where to invest.
I think talking to you guys, and I feel like even the couples we've had, I think 20 years down the road, you actually have the capacity to laugh at yourselves, to say, oh, it's a point of tension as you laugh. Was there a time when it was not a laughing matter? Was there a time when you actually really, really found it difficult or difficult spaces in your marriage because of those differences?
Well, yeah. Okay. I guess it's not a laughing matter.
It's not a laughing matter.
There's this one time, she said she's the holder, but there's this one time, I remember when you had all these pyramid schemes which are flying all over the place. So
we need to hear.
The thing was, you would think I was the one who was going to invest in one of those, but I was averse. I just kept away. I even said, no way, let's not put any money in this thing. She went and listened to her friends in her office and went and took a chunk of money and put it in one of those things. And just at the time when she was supposed to get the first installment,
the thing went down.
It went down.
Rudy!
I've never heard of that ever again.
Nothing happened. So
it was the one time I tried to be to be open-minded about risky ventures,
Wow.
and I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so that put weight investment ambitions. So that was that. But we also had others where I made a decision on our money, put it into a business venture, which went belly up. So we ended up losing everything. And that created a lot of tension between us, especially when she was trying not to tell me, I told you so.
You could tell she was trying.
Okay, she tries, she can't, she has to say. She's not the type to keep quiet. So that's why when she said she can be aggressive, just picture it, whichever.
Okay, basically, I do speak. I find it extremely difficult to bottle my feelings. So I kind of say what I'm thinking. Yeah, so.
I mean, basically, belly up, and it's your investments. I mean, that must have been a tough space to be in. I'm imagining.
Money saved, money
On our life savings.
some serious money saved,
Wow.
which we had plans for, and then I came across this opportunity and decided, look, you can put this money here and it will multiply, and we'll get better returns than if we left it lying around in a bank as we normally try to say.
Yeah.
Like if you talk about, say, those fixed deposits, interest is like those days several years ago, you talk about like 3-4% per year. So to me that wasn't making sense. So I know I made some bad decisions which ended up affecting us and affecting our relationship negatively.
So let me ask Wangeshi, on basis of that, I mean, a lot of people today talked about separating accounts. Some people talked about what you said your aunties told you. It may be good to have a Swiss account. It may be good to have some stashed funds in case your husband makes these crazy risks. He doesn't destroy your family. In fact, some people even talked about spouses buying things with separate names. So the wife is buying some properties just to make sure if this guy ever goes belly up, he's not taking me and my children down with him. What advice would you give to the couple who came and asked you, hey, with all this experience you guys have, would you advise us to go this way?
Okay, lots of lessons learned in the last 20 years. The first lesson is that it's very risky to have Swiss accounts. Extremely risky because of something you call of suspense accounts. What happens is that if anything happens to you and your spouse does not know that there is a stash of money somewhere, that money will not even benefit the children. So for the Kenyan mobile money, there are lots of money stashed in the M-Pesas, they're called suspense accounts. Suspense accounts because somebody died and there was no next of kin that was indicated. In the same way, Ministry of Lands, we have a lot of land lying idle that is not even, does not benefit the family because people didn't know that. Our wife didn't know that the husband owned land and the children are struggling, they don't have school fees, they don't have food to eat, and there's a piece of land lying somewhere and somebody takes advantage of it. Yeah. So we've maintained the integrity that even if I want to keep a savings account, he knows there's a savings account, that I'm keeping money, and he knows everything about it in terms of account number, password, or and he can access that money if need be.
If need be.
If need be.
In case he has a good high risk venture for him to invest.
So the money is hers.
Yeah.
So I do keep it there, but then he's aware it's there. It's not a secret, yeah. Also because I found that my well-being, I really need to have some savings or an emergency fund. I can't operate like without an emergency fund. When I don't have an emergency fund, I'm tense, I'm panicky, and I just must have an emergency fund. So I keep the emergency fund, And the times you've had a credit card, I keep the credit card because I don't spend if I don't need to. And that way I feel settled. But otherwise, I'll be panicking and I feel extremely exposed. So we still have a joint account, but I do have my account where I can keep my savings and keep my risk averse personality happy.
So you've sort of reached what do you call it? Some kind of compromise where Willie says, "Okay, please go ahead. This will make you happy.
Give you
peace of mind. We have our joint fund, but here's a little something that you can put aside for yourself that gives you that peace of mind." I like that. One of the people shared us. Oh, go ahead, Willie. Yeah, go ahead.
The same for me. If I want to put money aside and save for my project, so long as I inform her, I have the go ahead to do that. But we still have our joint kitty to deal with our joint issues.
Yeah.
Okay. Before
my structure, it's not so solid. It's not so what is it?
It's flexible.
It's flexible.
Okay.
And then we have duties. He has his duties, and I have my duties. And then, and now through couples and money, we plan to have a money date and plan forward. So you say in the next 5 years, this is what we are doing. This is our short-term goal and our long-term goal. That has been very helpful to give us common vocabulary so that we understand what we are each saying. I'll tell you something I did just to be able to reach his level, because I realized my financial literacy was a lot lower than his. I mean, he's a CPA.
He's
So what I've had to do is to up my game on financial literacy, listen to business talks, so that when I talk to him, I kind of have the same language. I'm not just telling him that I feel like we shouldn't invest in this. That he doesn't understand the language. So I have to get the language and the vocabulary that he understands.
I love that.
Okay.
And I've had to read up a lot so that when I give an argument, it is impressive to him.
Now, I got
That's good.
stuck. I got stuck at some point, and I'm so sure there are other people who got stuck. And we're not going. Just very briefly, both of you made mistakes as far as your finances go, and it was a joint. It was both your finances that were involved. How did you get to forgive each other? It was a point of. It was obviously, there was a lot of tension. You mentioned it, but yeah, how did you go about? How did you move past that?
Especially Wangeshi, when all the money went belly up.
Okay, when all the money went belly up, I went into midlife crisis because all our handshake, I don't know what you call that, handshake money, anytime you left employment and given a bulk amount of money was in that kitty.
Wow.
So there wasn't a fallback plan.
Wow.
But it was very difficult for me because of my background. I didn't want to get back to the same situation where I was coming from. However, the Lord, okay, what I sensed God speaking to me at that point was, okay, so you're grieving so long, we've lost all this money. Can you, what I sensed God saying was, can I define my grieving season? My mourning season. So you can't mourn for 10 years.
Wow.
You need to define you're gonna mourn. I'm going to mourn for 2 years, and then get up and do something about it. Solve the problem. So, and the verse I got is that naked you came and naked you leave. Nobody goes to the casket with a house or a Mercedes or nothing. Like with nothing. So what I realized is that thank God we are fine, our hands can work, we have good health, we have each other, we have the children, all of us are fine. So we roll up our sleeves and get to work and start all over again. And then we'll open the doors as we go along while we are going. So that I'm not stuck. While I am going, is going to go opening the doors. So that's how I solved it in my head, and then was able to unstuck myself and able to begin moving on. I mean, there are those occasional times when I find myself, I have retreated, I am sinking in despair. But then I remember that verse: naked you came, and you know, all that you have is from the Lord. So He'll give again. So we get up and get up and get moving.
That's powerful
Yes.
perspective. That's a really powerful
Wow.
perspective, and I think it's really a blessing. I suspect there's somebody listening to you, Wangeshi, who's really benefiting from that word, because it's very easy to just get stuck in a cycle of blame and regret and mourning, and not to be able to define it and then just say let's get up and start again. And I love that you were able to do that, and really I must say you're a lucky man that your wife. You're a
Hey,
blessed
you're
man.
blessed,
But
man.
really, how did you process it? I mean, knowing that you've done this, knowing that I guess you went against her instincts
Intuition, yeah.
and intuition, and this happened. How does a man process in a situation like that?
Yeah, let me say, I think it's the most difficult thing that a father, a husband can go through when you make a decision to take family resources which have been allocated and planned for other things, thinking that you're going to improve the situation of your family,
Yeah.
only to just, literally go belly up. I've had the occasion to also talk to other guys who have gone through the same. And the unfortunate thing is some of them committed suicide.
Ouch.
At least two guys that I know who went through a similar thing. Others had a long spell of depression, which ended up, abusing alcohol or drugs, trying to get away, because that's the tendency of the man. You try to be like the ostrich. Either you bury your head in the sand, hoping this whole thing will blow over. Then when you bring your head back up, everything will be back to normal.
Wow.
But the reality is you have to, for us, I mean, I had to pick myself up. I went through a period where I could call depression.
Yeah.
But he used to bully me, if I could put it in other ways, like, aren't you talking to me nowadays? You're not talking to me.
It goes
So
quiet.
like, what do you mean you're talking to me? But I've literally gone into my man cave, because the tendency for the man to try and solve the problem. Then you only come and talk when you solve
Have a solution.
Yeah, in that particular instance, the solution was not coming out, and we were in a bit of financial trouble as a result of what happened. And it was not resolving as quickly as I would have hoped. So it actually affected us in terms of, I was not talking, meaning I was just quiet. Nothing to nobody. I was not interacting with anybody socially. Very drawn, as in, for example, I play golf. So I go to the golf club once in a while and play. I stopped going. So the guys I would play with would call, "Hey, but where are you?" Like, I'm not available. So I cut off guys, social ties, talking to people.
Yeah.
And literally just went into a cocoon.
I think that's
Then,
so, and just to interrupt you, but just so powerful, because that comes up a lot and came up a lot today as well, where the husband lost a job, or the husband got fired, and then just went home and sunk into themselves. And the wife's frustrated because she says, this guy is not even getting up. It's been a year, it's been 2 years, it's been several years, and he's just in a cave. And she's frustrated because he's not carrying responsibility, he's not communicating. And I think what you're pointing out is and I think this is something very powerful, really, that many times, and I don't know if my wife will allow me to say this, I think many times ladies don't understand how wired we are to that point of provision, of success, of career, and how that defines a man in many ways. I think God created us in some way to be that this is actually a part of our core. And when you lose that, you can actually enter into a depression. And many times you'll look at your husband as a deadbeat, but the man is actually going through depression, and he won't show you. He's not asking for help because he doesn't even know how to. So I just thought as you say that, that's a really powerful thing that you're saying, that you're always wondering, why aren't you talking to me? But in retrospect, you're saying, I actually was in a place of depression.
Wow.
Yes, that's really it. Because every time she tried to talk to me, I am thinking she's expecting me to give her a solution. Well, she's probably actually genuinely asking for
a processing
conversation.
Yeah, you want to process, yes.
You know, yes. But I was in my cocoon, you know.
Yeah.
It's a tough place, I guess, to be as a couple when one person is not talking to the other. Of course, out there, you're presenting a good front to everyone, smiling when everyone, you know, everything is all good. How are you guys? Oh, we are fine. But on the inside, I was really hurting and just trying to pick myself up.
How did you finally pull out of that?
Time.
How long did it take you, and when did you finally find you're beginning to get out of that space?
It took quite a while, maybe 2-3 years, because that's how long it took to try and start recovering. And I think it even affected my relationship with the children, because we used to be very tight with them at some point. Then all of a sudden they're like, this guy nowadays, you ask him anything. It's like a lion.
They asked him why he's wearing a lemon face. The only person he smiles to is his wife. Like, you only smile with your wife. You don't even smile with us. And he's like, is that true? Yeah, so.
By the way, incidentally, when you mentioned this, my own father, my late dad, actually went through a similar thing.
Oh, wow.
When I think retrospect, yeah? Yes, in the 80s, he was retrenched from his job. So he went through a 3-year period when he wasn't working.
Oh my goodness.
And during the period, when I listened to my mom, we survived because he sold a house that we had somewhere in these lands. He sold a piece of land, just hustling. But in those 3 years, I actually remember my dad, most of the time he spent in the evenings, he'd go to the club where we were staying, a local club, where he'd go play snooker and darts and cards and come home late, midnight, 1, Monday, Sunday, for January up to December of like 2-3 years. Hardly saw them.
It's so interesting.
And when I think about it, like he was going through us.
Repeating history. And it's interesting. I mean, I don't know, we talk about this sometimes.
Yeah.
For men, we are as hardwired to our careers and to our output and success as women are hardwired to relationships.
Yeah.
If a woman loses her core relationships in life, that's depression. Mm-hmm. It's like I can't talk to my mom, I can't talk to my sisters, I can't talk to my kids, my husband. It's destructive for a woman. It's interesting, if a man loses those things and is thriving in his career, he'll actually he won't be okay, but he will actually have fuel to keep moving. That's just the weird thing about the way we're wired. If a man loses his job and his source of purpose, and he comes home to a loving family, loving wife, loving sisters, loving appreciative,
loving mother,
he'll be in depression. it's just a weird thing. And I think when we understand the gender, we stop fighting your spouse and seeing them as your anchor pulling you down, and actually start seeing that this man needs help. He needs men to talk to him. He needs people who can actually surround him, because right now he's sinking and he may be looking like he's
So is what was going on through Wangeshi? I mean, these are 2 to 3 years of recovery. So Wangeshi, what was going on through your mind? Were you the one who was primarily providing at that point, or what was going on there?
As I say, we found ourselves stuck. We both got stuck in our own world. So the situation was grave that he got stuck, and so did I. But I realized, as I say, we cannot, we have to keep the wheels moving.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me keep the wheels moving and then he'll get back on board because it was completely out of character. This is not how we started. So I knew how he was before the crisis. And so I thought, okay, so maybe this is gonna take 6 months, he'll be back on board. So let me keep the wheels moving, kids doing their homework, just keep the house running. So that when he snaps out of it, there's something, the vehicle is still moving, keep it afloat, as opposed to both of us stalling, because then we will not have anything to come back to. Children will be in crisis, everything will be in a crisis. So that was my idea. So it was not, I did not desire to do it for a long season. What I keep thinking is that then the ladies can step in for a season, but when it's prolonged, it starts overstraining her because she's not wired that way. She's wired that the man provides, but sometimes there can be reversed roles, and it can work for a season. If it's extended, then it begins to strain her because she's carrying both roles, both roles which become too heavy, so to speak. So that's what I say. God's grace is sufficient, but it's also very exhausting to be carrying the load and then be trying to think the mastermind, which was his role before. Because he provided the leadership and I was happy to support. Can I say that I was home for 14 years with the children? So I did not have the boardroom power that other women maybe have built over the years. I was home for 14 years with the kids. And then when this happened, I had to look for my high heels and get, and just figure something out to keep the wheels moving until he's back on board. I had hoped it was a shorter period, but then it stretched on for a lot longer. And I didn't realize it was actually maybe functional depression, but patterns changed. First of all, he became more introverted. I'm the extrovert and he's the introvert. He even as a more introvert than I am, he has never been silent with me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, he may not be so sanguine.
He went quiet even in the marriage.
With me. He's not an introvert with me. He talks, he'll express himself. So when that cut off, I started now getting concerned. So that's the first thing. And there were the lack of interest in things that he previously was interested in. His golf is really top on the rank. So when that dropped, I knew we are in kind of trouble.
There's a problem.
There was a problem. Then but it was a very slow realization. Then he became withdrawn. He didn't want to attend gatherings that he would otherwise have been happy to join, including family meetings. So then it becomes okay, maybe, but you don't quite know. You're not sure. You've never. I've never experienced this before. Never had a husband before, so I had never seen this season, and it took me a long time to. I think a long time to call a spade a spade.
Yeah, I think mental health for men is a real issue, and there are many guys out there who are suffering, and they don't even know that they're suffering. They don't know it's mental health. There are many wives who are suffering because they don't know their husbands are going through some meltdown and depression. And I'm hoping that what you guys are sharing is bringing some light to homes. Even just being able to say, now at least I can call it what it is. I'm beginning to see some things here that I can actually point to. And maybe that'll help you be able to start getting help, because when you know what the situation is, you're more likely to ask for the right help. So I love what you guys are sharing. Somebody said, let me read a couple of comments. Priscilla Gitahi Upton, she's actually part of our UK family, says, I'm lucky my husband works in financial technology. So people who are married to finance husbands, she's identifying with you guys. It says where they sell software to banks which advise their customers on wealth management. It helps with his financial literacy, but I still have to talk to him I still have to talk him out of his expensive taste of guitars and cars. So the guy is much more financial literate, but then he has some serious financial high taste. Money matters, and what I've learned is to be open with money, be proactive in making yourself financially secure, and says thank you for this episode. So I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in YouTube, but that was a great
Yes,
comment
that was
from
nice.
Priscilla.
Yeah,
I wanted to add,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I just wanted to, I think it's very important when you see your significant other going through something like that, not to be the one who comes to stoke the fire, so to speak.
Mm.
For example, when I went into my cocoon, if she harped on me about it kept happening on you did this, you messed us up, it would have driven me further away. I'd have probably even dug in because even I think my primary,
Yeah, you did see
what's it called?
phlegmatic
Yeah, it's
personality.
flag. So I'd have dug in even further and probably not even talked for 8 years. But to hear encouragement from her, kudos to her, and then encouragement from close friends, those guys who now this is the time when you know who your friends are. When you disappear, a guy calls you and tells you, "Hey, guy, I'm just calling you to find out whether you're okay." That's all. I just want to hear your voice.
Life group.
So guys in your life group, guys in your people who the people who you can say will have your back. But I think after going through that period, now I know who they are.
Yeah.
And the guys I'll also have. In fact, we started speaking at another level with them in terms of I'm able to share what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. I think as a guy, if you have a forum where, for the ladies, I think it's easy for them to share in whichever forum. You can even share to a stranger, no issues. But for guys, it takes time. You can't just come and start telling a guy, "Hey, by the way, I lost tunes. I'm feeling bad about it." I'll have to know who you are,
Exactly.
get to understand you before I can even go to that level. So to have a forum where I have people who I can talk to and they can encourage me was also something that helped me through that process.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we had
Thing?
we had a
Could I
question.
just
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, I was just saying what I really appreciated in that season was the accountability group, that he's in an accountability groups. So there's first the life group, which is our church, what do you call that?
Yeah, home church.
Like a life group is our support system in the church. So that has been absolutely helpful because we are real. We're just, this is us, that's the first thing. Then his golfers, Christian, what do you call that group?
It's a group of Christian golfers.
Yeah.
Mostly made up of Mavunites, I'll have you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that has been, it's helpful to have a men's group he can go to and, vent out. So that has been absolutely helpful. But can I tell you that even when he was at his lowest, he still would wake up and go and do the marriage ministry we call Doa. He never stopped. Like he dragged himself out of bed. He says, "We are the coaches now. Get up, let's go." I'm thinking, "You can't go now."
So you're going to class to talk about money.
We're going to teach about money. And I'm thinking, wow, all right, how do you do this?
Wow. And right at that time you have a financial crisis, but still, going and being able to share with other people and listening to different perspectives was.
We actually shared. So this week we shared, because every week in the Noah community we share what we call marriage hacks, just things we've learned over years that helped our marriage work. And the one we shared last week was exactly that. We talked about the fact that giving others often helps you more than even the people you're helping. And we've actually served at our lowest points and found that it actually blessed us. So I just affirm what you guys were doing even as you kept serving.
Now, in the group today, we had a lady, obviously very, very frustrated. I think the husband, she feels that she was carrying a lot of the load, and she was saying that disrespect has started creeping into the marriage. I don't think she was really liking the disrespect, that she was being disrespectful, but that had crept in. So Wangeshi, what would you advise that kind of a woman?
Wow, I think that's every woman's battle. So to speak, you have to contend with what does respect look like and what does it not look like, and often I'd catch myself on a disrespectful tone. Sometimes it's not what you're saying, it's how it is said. So I had to really work on myself, and I don't always succeed, but it's to be very intentional. So, like on my diary, let me show you, because my mouth, it says, let your speech be always with grace. Colossians 4-6. Like my notebook, every time I open it, I see this, so that day I tone down my speech to say and do the right thing at the right time and to say it well. I don't always succeed, but being intentional to work on that as a character. That my words will heal, that my words will build. I don't always succeed, but it's to try. And what happens is that as you're trying, the Holy Spirit will remind you the next time before you blurt it out. So I'll fail, but slowly I begin to say, I got a prompting, just before I was about to open my mouth, and I stopped the words gushing out just in time.
Okay.
So it's a work in progress, not always successful, but having biblical scriptures to help me correct that character and have a right attitude. And also I'm here to also serve. When you're here to serve, you serve and you do it joyfully. And also to know that it's for a season. Be gracious with the other person while they're in their low, because the roles reverse. Roles reverse. We've had times when we got married, we were both we were doing very well, both of us.
We had good jobs.
We had good jobs. Now in our 20,
we had 3 cars.
We had 3 cars. One was in the parking. So we have had situations where we are both working in good, they're called blue collar jobs. So blue collar jobs,
White collar. Blue chip companies, white collar jobs.
White collar. We were both working white collar jobs. And then we've had a situation where we are both out of work. And we've had a situation where he's working and I am not at home. And I've had a situation where I am working and he is working. What we've also realized, where I am home and he's working.
You're working, I'm not.
Yes.
I'm working, she's not.
Yeah.
Or like that.
Mix.
The whole mix. And then we've realized that there's something called invisible work. So the person who's not necessarily bringing in the money, there is work they are still doing. Just because somebody is a stay-home mother does not mean they're not working. They are keeping the home together, they are managing the children, they are giving the best to the children. So that is invisible. It can look like invisible work, but it's still very valuable in terms of resources to the family. They are bringing something to the pot. So just because a stay-home mother is not bringing hard cash does not mean she's not contributing to the welfare of that family, or the other way
I would
around.
say the same about fathers. Because when you have a man who is in between jobs or in that transition, the same thing. Because dropping the children, picking the children, doing homework with them, looking after the house, all that stuff, which you actually take for granted. You don't think or realize that there is value to what that person is doing until the day you tell that person to walk out. So like that happened to a few people that we know, where the wife was the one bringing everything. So it was all about the money. So the guy is not bringing the money. So she tells him, "You have no use to me, so walk out." So all of a sudden,
There's no one with the children.
she had to divert from going to work to drop her children to school. She had to figure out how to pick them. She had to figure out how to do homework with them because she never used to do it. He is the one who used to do it. And it ended up being a situation where he took custody of the children because she could not manage them. A very strange, situation. Because you just realize, by the way, these kids need their dad.
So don't
So
devalue the
it's not always
spouse.
just you.
Don't devalue the spouse who is not earning as much as you are. That's what you guys are pulling out. And this is really powerful. Let me ask a question. You guys are couples and money facilitators. Your first time through couples and money, you made a radical decision that you shared with us and you shared with the class, that you actually ended up cutting your expenses dramatically, and that's not something that is easy for a couple to do. So maybe I just ask, maybe you could just tell us what was your lifestyle before, what led you to that decision, and how are you able to execute it together without killing each other?
Okay, so we've been going through this season where we had that financial issue as a result of a bad investment decision. But we were still trying to maintain the same lifestyle.
Okay, did I say I like nice houses? Nice houses, really nice ones.
So we were still trying to maintain the same. So we didn't want things to change dramatically. Yeah, fine. The resources which we had diminished drastically. We were still trying to figure out how to build them back up. But in the meantime, we were trying, basically living the literal rat race that we talk about, where you try to have a nice house, 2 cars, children are going to school, and ensuring that they have the transport, ensuring that they have, all the things as they were before the situation that we went through. And after doing the couples and money course, there's this one chapter, I can't remember which one it was. We had to sit down and basically assess, look at our budget, and then ask ourselves very, very hard questions. So fine, we are struggling, we want to maintain this lifestyle, but is this going to enable us to have savings so that we can achieve 1, 2, 3, 4? Is this going to enable us to have savings so that we can go back to where we used to be? And we realized that we were eating our children's inheritance, literally. And so we took what our children call draconian decisions. So Omeshi says I gave her 2-week notice.
1 week, just 1 week. 1 week, 1 week, 1 week. 7 days.
But we just said, look, we can't continue like this. We're really, really struggling. We'll never achieve our goals and targets and hopes if we continue like this. So let's find a way of cutting our costs, and then we'll be able to start building up from there. Because so we actually thought up a 10-year plan. So where do you want to be 10 years from now? What will you want to have achieved, and how are we going to achieve it? So first and foremost, cut our housing costs. We had some money we had borrowed. How do we get rid of that? So we made drastic decisions like, let's move house. So we moved like 2 kilometers further up the road, and we cut our housing cost by 50%. Then we decided to sell one of the vehicles we had, got rid of the loan. And interestingly, that was at the beginning of this year, around February. Immediately after that, COVID came, and everything was shut down. The various businesses we were doing, like for example, she's a journalist. Their salaries were slashed by I don't know what percent, like 50%, even lower than that. Some of the projects I was doing in my construction business all stalled. I had literally zero income coming in from that. So, but the fact that we now had drastically reduced our savings, we were able to survive. Our expenses. So now we were able to survive. And even now, as we have additional income coming in from other things that we're doing, we're able to think of savings, we're able to think about the long-term goals. So yeah, that's what happened to us in the year 2020.
Wow.
Wow.
So, I mean, how do you, what would you say has allowed you to be able to make, because I mean, I'd imagine that was not an easy decision to make. Wangeshi, you like big houses, nice houses. This man is giving you a 1 week notice to quit the nice house and move to something not as nice. Um, what is it that allowed you to be able to work together and actually say, let's do this?
We did couples and money that was really a decide helped us to decide because what couples and money did for us, it gave us a long shot of if you continue with this pattern of lifestyle, this is where you're gonna end up. And as you say, we realized we'll be eating into our children's inheritance. And so it was either I live in a glamorous house now and then live in a poverty in the future, or reverse it. So because I really want this nice house, I compromise now for a more stable future and actually plan for it
Yeah,
and,
I
and
love that.
take the steps towards it. And COVID has showed us that you need an emergency fund. You must think about your pension because being cooped up in a bad house is not a good idea. So it's not comfortable. So how will I make sure that the future is comfortable? It's to make sure that I'm not consuming everything now. We are actually keeping akiba, keeping
Savings.
funds aside and thinking about the future so that then we were just a little more realistic. But we needed somebody to shake us and give us the long shot of what this lifestyle, if you continue this way, this is how it's gonna be in the end. So that was a really wake up call, and we agreed clearly. Then we were able to jump ship
Yeah.
right into the ocean.
Felt like jumping ship.
I think from my conventional way of thinking, when you think of moving house, you go and go through catalogs and look at websites and visit like 20 houses. Us guys made a decision in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
And 1 week.
That's what you call
Okay,
radical.
is that what is this going to cut our cost? Because we have to move by the end of this one. Yes. Fine, let me get a mover. Find the cheapest mover, of course, not the most expensive. So we ended up getting a guy who was charging us half of what the previous guy was, and doing the same work, just that he was not going to wrap our things in cartons. Couldn't use newspapers. So, fine.
So
Mind shift.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
it's a mind shift for sure. But I think one of the things I want to commend you guys is, I mean, you've been married 20 years, you've blessed couples all these years. But I think was it, I don't know really whether I'm reading this, whether it was someone else who told me, but I thought it was you who said you had made a commitment that every so often you guys would do something to improve your marriage. And that's why you
Yes.
ended up in couples and money. It's like you never feel you've arrived. You're always inputting into your marriage. You're always doing something that. Just tell me about that, because I seem to remember you saying something about that a while back.
Yeah, well, couples and money was actually Wangeshi's idea. I was brought in kicking and screaming, literally, because I said, "What do I need to learn about money that I don't know?"
I know. Oh
You're
my
you're a,
God.
C, you're a CF,
Yeah.
CPA.
Now what is it? Whatever.
CPA.
CPA. Okay.
Yeah, it was like I don't think there's anything new. And true enough, watching the first class, was like, these guys are talking about personalities and money. It's the same thing we do indoor. Nothing new under the sun. The second week, I started seeing the finger pointing at me. I'm like, by the way, there's stuff here you need to think about. By the third week, we are making lifestyle draconian
Lifestyle decisions.
Lifestyle.
this is all stuff you know, but it's been packaged in such a simple way that now you can actually what she said, this it helped us make decisions that we needed to have made I wish I had made it a year ago or two. We'd have been in a much better place than we are. Not that we are not, we are getting better.
Yeah.
We are in a much better place than we were back then,
Yeah.
definitely. But I wish I had done it earlier. Now, when you think about it in retrospect.
I love it. Well, I think for me, it's just to commend you guys, and it's something
Yeah.
that we just believe in, just investing consistently in your marriage. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we just only have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We can wrap it up. Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Do you want me to wrap it up? Do you want me to wrap?
Mm-hmm.
You want me to
Wrap
wrap?
it up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
I guess
done.
I've been nominated to wrap this up.
Wrap it up.
But we try and end by 9. So, but it's so good to have you guys here. And I think one of the things we want to say for us, as we've watched everything, as we listen to all the community conversations, I think it's just to say that this money issue is a huge issue. And the reason it's huge is because it's rooted into your very identity. You learned a whole ton about money, good or evil, from your family of origin. And you don't even understand how much you learned. It's wired in. The circumstances you went through as a young person, the things you saw your parents do. As much as you have education, there's a lot of other stuff underlying that. What money means, all that stuff. And you get married to somebody else who has a completely different background and understanding of money. And so no wonder then this thing becomes such a tense issue for us. And as I watch couples and I see all the challenges that people are facing, I think it's just to tell you, you're not alone. Don't even feel like you're failing when you have these challenges. All of us, every couple will go through these issues. And the key thing is now understanding, how do we marry our money, or at least our understanding of money. And that's the most important thing. And so I think for the couples we couldn't get through all the issues just because of time. And Wangeshi and Willie have done such a great job in helping us with the things that we were able to bring on the table. But it's just to be able to say, listen, all those competing priorities, competing goals, it's not a case of good versus evil. It's just a case of competing value systems. And the most important thing is just being able to bring those value systems together. So you're able to be aligned, and that allows you to then be able to make the draconian decisions that Will is talking about. Because now you're aligned. You see, you're moving the same direction. Even though you thought differently, you're now able to make something that would have been almost impossible to do. And many couples never accomplish much together because they never get to the place where they understand that they were put together to accomplish great things for God. And that money is a tool. It's just a tool to help you achieve your purpose. So many times what happens, couples chase money as opposed to chasing purpose. And I think that's just one of the things that comes out when people get so frustrated with money issues. Not understanding money is it's a great tool. It's a terrible master. Yeah. And so it really behooves you to learn to manage money, to learn to master your money.
Yeah. And I think, that's a very big one when couples compete with each other as far as their finances are concerned, or when they don't disclose, or they hide from each other. They really don't understand that they've been put together and they can achieve so much more when they're willing to work together. When we read statistics of corporations, I think they say something like 60% are actually
Fortune 500.
Fortune 500 are actually family. Okay, they are family based. And so, but here in Africa, we don't understand that. We don't know that Barclays is a man called Barclays.
And his family.
Yes, and his family. We don't know that. And so we miss out a lot when we don't work together or we don't invest, even in financial literacy, together as a couple.
Yeah. And what we found is many couples either don't have enough money, so they're always fighting about money, or the money came before the foundation was built, and then it ended up becoming the thing that destroyed their marriage. And so this money thing, it behooves us to learn to manage it. So I think we're going to, as we conclude, I'm going to ask Wangeshi and Willie, I'm going to actually invite you to pray for couples, because I understand there are couples who are listening to this and it's out of a place of pain. There's some people who it's out of a place of betrayal, a place of just even thinking, how do I even begin to forgive somebody for some of the things I've gone through because of this financial issue. And so one of you, just between the two of you, can decide who's going to pray, just to pray for couples as we conclude. And I think as you do that, let me just mention again, join the Ndoa community. The link is on WhatsApp. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook as well if you're watching on any of those platforms. Please just click the link and join the community. And also just to mention, as we've talked about this stuff, I really want to commend Couples and Money to you. It's a phenomenal mentoring experience. just a place for you to grow in understanding finances together. In financial intimacy, we talk about the fact that finance is one of those intimacies that couples really don't understand. And you may be both very, very astute when it comes to finance, but then your marriage, is your money married? And that's what we really want to encourage you to consider as we have this conversation.
Can I
And
throw
so-
in a blog for Wangeshi and for
Yeah.
Willie? They actually facilitate couples and money.
And they're fantastic.
And they're
facilitators,
fantastic
yeah.
facilitators. So I don't know if their group is full, but if you would like them to do that, just indicate Willie and
we're recruiting for them.
and
that's fine.
Wangeshi. Yes, and they'll mentor you. Huh?
They're fantastic mentors.
Fantastic mentors. Yeah.
So, okay, would you guys do us the honor of just speaking a blessing over the couples watching?
Okay, let me pray for the couples. Father, thank you. Thank you so much for enabling us to just deliberate and discuss about money today, and the way, oh God, you just helped us through a very difficult financial situation. Right now, there are couples who are watching, a husband who has lost money or lost his job, is not able to look after his household, his children, his wife, and he's going through some kind of depression. Father, I pray that you would lift him up, you would enable him to find the strength to pick himself up. This situation will come to an end. There is always a light at the end of the tunnel. May you pick them up, Father. May you give them encouragement. May you open doors for them where there seem to be none. May there be new horizons arising for all the men that are in this situation. May you bring about friends and mentors and people that they can talk to and express their situation to. And Father, when we cry to you, may you hear their prayer and may you turn their situation around. I also want to pray for the wives and for those the spouses that are in a situation where they've seen their husband go through this difficult depression, difficult situation where they're not even feeling like waking up or rising up and standing up and taking up their mantle. Lord, I pray that you would give them grace, that you would enable them to encourage, that you would keep them increasing in their finances and in everything that they do to be able to hold the family up as they are going through that you would bring about resources in terms of counselors, in terms of mentors, in terms of friends who would just surround them and help them through this difficult situation. And for all those couples that are thinking of getting married and that have not even considered the finances or are having financial difficulties even before they are married, I pray that you would enlighten them, that you would give them wisdom to be able to make the right decisions for their relationships. And we also want to pray for Pastor Caro and Pastor M. Thank you so much for enabling them to have this forum and to be able to reach out to a greater number of people that we probably have in a different circumstance. We pray that you bless their ministry and that you continue blessing us. Thank you for praying in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you. I think the Holy Spirit led you because you really covered a lot of the issues today in prayer in the group. And I just want to say, if you're as you were sharing in the group, this is our blessing to you. Our prayer is that you will move from where you are to where God wants you to go. We believe that marriage is blessed. It's God's idea. Marriage is not a hoax. There's somebody today in the group who said, that's why I believe marriage is a hoax, when they had some of the challenges people are going through. But I think one of the reasons we air this show is to show that marriage works. And these are real couples with real issues. They're not pretend or perfect couples. But even with their real issues, because they've trusted God with their marriages, they're actually growing from one stage to the next. And Willie and Wangeshi, we're so grateful for you guys just being vulnerable, sharing your lives with us, sharing your pain, but also your successes with us.
Yeah.
And I really believe that many of us, many couples who've been watching today are blessed. Even I've learned a lot just watching you guys. We're always blessed by the couples who come on as well. So thank you guys. May God continue to just increase. We're going to have you back on the show, obviously, because we want to hear how this story continues and just see what God does. And I know there are many other things that you guys will teach us as well.
Yeah, you already have someone here saying they want to be in your couples money and
nice.
couples and money session. I don't know
love
if your
it.
group is full. So Jenny,
Welcome.
we'll see whether if they are not yet full, then you're most welcome to join their group. And in the Ndoa community, anybody else who's interested, please indicate that you're interested in couples and money,
Yeah.
because the slots do fill out quite quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your prayer for us. And all the guys who are watching from across the world, thank you for
Thank
being with us. We're so excited about this opportunity to just bond and pour into you, because we know you're going to pour into many others. And we trust God that your marriage will become a beacon of light and hope to this world that so desperately needs models of marriage that work. And so next week is our season finale.
Yes, we do have a season finale.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
So next week we're actually doing our final episode for the year,
Yes.
and because in December we want to relax,
Yes, we need to take a break.
take a break in deck. And so, my goodness, we have a mystery guest. I can't even tell you about them. It's going to be fun.
It's gonna be
So
sizzling.
keep it locked.
Yep.
And again, Wangesh and Willie, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. God bless you. And yeah, we'll keep in touch, and can't wait to see what God does through you and in you in the lives of many people. Bye bye. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.